Hi everyone, I'm just filming today or doing a video on the way I store my breast milk and how I freeze it or I put it in a refrigerator in this case, and usually how much I pump on a regular basis. So if I were just going every 2 hours, I'm gonna pump around 2 to 3 ounces, what my baby would demand from me, and that's how much I would usually produce. Or I can nurse her, I can put her skin to skin, and I won't know exactly what she's taking if I just put her on the left side or on the right side and rotate vice versa for the next feeding, or do both if she's really hungry. However, I prefer pumping because it gives me a better understanding of what I'm producing and what she actually consumes. So if I am producing 2 to 3 ounces and she's consuming a 3 ounce bottle, then I know that I'm producing enough. I know that she is satisfied and full, and then she usually goes back to sleep, or she, stays up and starts oohing and awing like the coos that babies do. But this is what I do when I pump. I pump sometimes a little more than 4 ounces each side in the morning. So this is after 6 hours of not breastfeeding, or well, I'll breastfeed in between in the night, but it's after like not pumping in this case. This is a Haka pump, so this is what I said in my previous video. So this is what I did first thing in the morning when I didn't have a regular double breast pump upstairs, because I left it downstairs in the living room. So I pump in my living room, I pump in my room. It depends on where I am or how comfortable I feel. So at the nighttime, I pump at night at my room, and then in the mornings, my room, and then in the middle of the day, it's usually the living room. So however, I did pump at night upstairs in my room, and then I had washed all the stuff, and I left it on the hanging like the drying rack as far as like the kitchen. So I use this real quick as a backup Haka pump, and I like I said, I don't like to fill it up to the 4 ounce line. I like to fill it up to the 3 at the most, because when you are, well, it's not even at the 3, it's barely at the 3, because when you're squeezing it, again, you're pushing that milk up, and you're basically about to touch your nipple if you're doing that. And it's just basically, just go ahead and empty it into a storage bag. It's no big deal. Put a little bit in the storage bag. If you put 2 ounces in there, then just, measure that way if you are keeping track of what you're producing per side. So again, this is what I used. This is what I pumped this morning. So what I'm going to do is start to label the Lancinol bags, and these are my storage bags. These are the ones that I use the most. However, I do have other storage bags and other storage containers, like the Medalla storage bags. Those are really good. They're more crinkly, like you don't hear it like this is really quiet compared to those. The other ones, the Medalla ones, are more of the like the bag feel, or bag crinkly sound. So it is really, really noisy if you're trying to deal with it at night when everyone is asleep. I prefer using these for that reason. They also are really good for storing flat. I will show you the Medalla bag, just 1 second. And I shouldn't even say a second because I could pause this. So this is what I'm saying. That's crinkly sound. This is what the Medalla, and I said Medalla. So Medalla bag is like this. It stands up really tall, and it does really good if you're storing your stuff standing up. Me personally, I prefer to flatten it so that I have more storage space. However, if it works better for you in your freezer, it's easier for you, then that's fine. To each their own. And basically label the date, the amount of ounces you're going to put on there. I believe the name is more for like your child if you're taking it to a daycare, or a sitter that has more than one child that is giving breast milk to other kids. I have no idea. I personally just leave that blank because it's really the only time I ever take my child, or my children in this case. When I had my 3-year-old, she just went to a sitter, and she was the only one that was being breastfed or bottle fed breast milk, so I didn't have anything to worry with that. But of course they knew which one was mine if that was the case. So I label it the day. Today is the next day, the 25th, and then the amount of ounces I'm gonna put 4 ounces per bag. I think I have, let me just double check between these containers. Yeah, I have about 6 ounces in here, and I have about 4 ounces in here, and I have another 2.5 ounces. So I really could put 2 6-ounce bags, but like I said, I prefer not to. That is 12. That's 3 ounce, or I could do 3 ounces or 6 ounces or 4. It depends if I'm going to put some in the fridge. So I'm going to put some in the fridge in this case. So I'm going to do 2 4-ounce bags, and then I'll do a 2-ounce bag and a well, three, yeah, I could do 3 4-ounce bags actually. Yeah, I'll do that. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna put 4 ounces in each one of these 3 bags, and I usually put the time more or less when I pumped it, and I try to do the earlier amount so that I can get it out quicker. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'll tell you what I do. I'm gonna just pour this in there, 4 ounces. Let's see if I can manage to show you guys more or less this in the 4 ounces easily. And of course, you want to sanitize the area that you're using because you want to keep your hands clean, protect your baby from getting any more bacteria than needed. Of course, you are giving them your immunity of whatever just whatever bacteria that's in your breast milk is sufficient, basically. You don't want to give him or her outside bacteria that you don't know they can handle, because it's not like we're licking counters and stuff like that or anything like that. But if it gets in the breast milk, you want to be safe. It's better to just clean up the area first. That's my recommendation. That's anybody's recommendation, really. I will go ahead and store this flat. So as you see, this is what I have in my freezer. This is what I just put flat, and I try to put it on top of something because if not, it's gonna have the wrinkles of something else. This is everything that I have, and of course, I'm gonna find a better way to manage this mess. It's my 4 ounce, all the 4 ounces that I've been doing, and then some of these are the earlier amounts, and those are the ones that have like 2 ounces, 3 ounces, or less. But I noticed that my baby doesn't really feed more than 4 ounces. And I'll go ahead and tell you what my secret was when it came to producing this much, because I'm only 6 weeks postpartum. So basically, I am producing about 2/3 more than what my daughter needs right now. So she's doing an average of 4 ounces every 2 to 3 hours, but really, like, you can stretch it to 3 hours because my daughter's like, she eats 4 ounces and she'll be full for a few hours, probably even up to 4 hours, but I won't push it. Remember, you're breastfeeding on demand. I produce 66% more than what she needs. So 4 ounces she'll drink, and then the other 8 ounces, one is in the fridge and for her next meal if I need to, if I'm on the go, and the other 4 ounces are in the freezer. Or I can just put 8 ounces in the freezer and not have to worry about it and just take out what's old from the freezer and then bring it out to the front. And the fridge is where I would defrost it mostly. And then I will like warm it up a little bit with the warm water method. I produce that much because I've been pumping every 2 hours for a few weeks now, even if she's sleeping up to 3 hours. So if you add that up, that's like 4 ounces extra a day. If you were to do 24 hours and then you're dividing that into how many times I feed her a day, so let's just say we're feeding her every 3 hours, you're gonna have a little bit of excess. So at first I only had like 2 ounces excess and I was storing that, and that's fine. And then I started increasing to 4 ounces, but I started when she was 3 weeks old. She's about 7 to 8 weeks old now, and I started pumping like every 2 hours on the dot, like if I could, and at 2.5 hours she will wake up, or at 3 hours she will wake up, and I was feeding her again, or at least pumping or giving her just breast milk, like skin to skin. So that's what I would encourage if you're really trying to get a good storage supply, is start pumping every 2 hours. Even if your child is sleeping, even if you're exhausted, just do it for the first few weeks if you have the privilege and you're not working. Right now I'm on FMLA, so right now I'm not working right now. Until I go back to work, I want to have a good storage supply so I don't have to worry about if I have 15-minute breaks or 30-minute breaks or whatever I have, and then I feel the rush to have to come back to work and, put everything in a storage bag and then all that stuff. And just in case I don't have enough time to do all of that in the process, or pump as long as I would like to, because I pump up to 30 minutes. I know on my breaks, I'm probably going to only pump 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes at the most. And that is still maybe even less than that, because I still have to put it in storage bags and I still have to have all that extra time to put it in the freezer, put it in the fridge, wherever it is in my job. So I would like to not feel rushed. If I have to pump only 15 minutes and I only have 15 minutes out of 30 to do that, then that's all I'm going to have. And that means I'm not going to be producing as much. So when I go back to work, I know my production is going to be a little decreased. Right now is the time that I'm going to take advantage. So if I'm off for 12 weeks, guess what? I'm going to go ahead and go supply as much as I can. So if I'm doing 66% more, I hope I can get like even 30 to 60 extra bags in the freezer, and have that ready for a sitter when she is at a sitter's house, and I don't have to worry about it and stress. So like, oh my God, her next meal just got spilled, and no, I've been through that the first time around. I've learned my lesson, and you always learn second time around with your second child. So I recommend pump every 2 hours. Also, how do you produce your milk? How do you increase your production? I mean, obviously, if you're breastfeeding, you're going to produce milk, but you increase your production by staying hydrated. Drink a lot of water, and not just empty calories water. Like, yes, have some juice, have some milk, like have something that you know is calorie filled. So for me, I still take my prenatal vitamins. I drink plenty of water. I want to say about 6 cups a day. I personally drink a little bit more than that, but sometimes if you can't get 6 cups a day, like, just try to drink other things. Drink teas, drink milks, just anything that's going to keep you hydrated and is healthy. Of course, don't drink alcohol. You don't want to consume alcohol when you're breastfeeding at all. And if you are, don't just know the method of how long alcohol stays in your system. So if you know your body type and everything, I just personally just don't risk it. I mean, if I'm gonna drink, it's 1 glass, and it's like once a week, and it's literally that whole entire night or day. I am like so cautious. I will wait 8 hours before I feed her any milk. I will pump and dump, and I know you're not really supposed to. You don't have to. The reason why I will do that is because if I'm gonna pump, say 4 hours in or 2 hours in, I'm still producing that milk. So I need to keep that demand. Like, if she was feeding every 2 to 3 hours, I need to pump every 2 to 3 hours as if she was feeding, because I want to keep that supply running. If I am not going to pump at all, and you consumed alcohol and you just don't pump that whole 4, 5, 6 hours, you're stretching out that milk supply, and now you're going to be producing as if you're only feeding your child 6 hours. So you don't want to do that. You want to do it more frequently. So even if you had alcohol in your system, or if you had something in your system, you want to pump it. I'm sorry, but dump it, unfortunately. And that's only because you still want to keep your production. And then after like 8 hours, if you feel safe to drink, if you only had like one drink, and you feel safe to like reproduce and give it to your child, I just don't recommend it. It's too risky. I feel like it's not worth it, especially when you're doing the best for your child. But if you are gonna do it, just wait a long, long period of time, and don't drink to get just don't get belligerent. Don't drink too much. Just if you really, really crave a drink, just stick to one. It's just not worth it. Not for me, at least. So yeah, store the milk, put it in a freezer flat. That's easiest for me. I'm gonna find a better method. I know a lot of people put them in like these big freezer Ziplocs, and that's what actually I'm gonna do now. But I think the more you're producing, it's the more hydrated you are, the more food you have in your system. So for me, I'm also using another product. This is actually interesting. It's a superfood moringa powder, and I like this because I put it in my coffee, and I only drink 1 coffee a day. So it's a treat to me. I'll drink it in the middle of my day. I don't drink coffee first thing in the morning sometimes, because I feel like I have enough energy after I eat breakfast. But and believe it or not, I drink these Pediasures, the ones that I give my 3-year-old sometimes. So they have vitamins. They're full of vitamins. Now, would I buy Ensure, the ones for adults? Sure. But if I'm already feeding my toddler that, why not have it for myself too? So I'll just drink like 1 or 2 of those a day. Again, we're producing milk, and we're also burning calories. So like, if you are afraid that you're going to be gaining weight, just eat healthy. Don't eat junk food, and make sure that you are hydrated. Again, I cannot emphasize that enough. If you are dehydrated and you feel like you need water, if you feel like you're really, really famished, believe it or not, drink water first and tell me how famished you are after you drink that glass of water, and you probably will be a little less hungry. However, don't fill yourself with empty calories. Fill yourself with like a vegetable, a protein, a carb. Like, make sure that you have a balanced meal, and make sure that you are drinking plenty of water and juices and drinks, whatever you need to drink. And don't do too many bad things, because again, you're going to be feeding your child what's best, and you want to make sure that you're clean eating and make sure that your child is consuming what you just did good for your body. So again, I ever since I started with the breastfeeding, from postpartum, from the day that she was born to now, I have lost over 20 pounds. I can't show too much, I guess, but yeah, I was 40 pounds that I gained weight through this pregnancy, 30 pounds the first pregnancy, 30 pounds. I lost the 30 pounds instantly with my first child, but again, it's my first child. Everybody says you bounce back quickly. Second child is a little more difficult. You gain more weight usually, and I did. I gained a little over 40 pounds. I want to say like 42 to 45 maybe. I didn't really keep track 100%, my starting weight. But give or take like 42 to 45, I know it was around that. And then I have lost already 20 pounds or more than that at this point, from my last checkup. So at this point I'm on that track of breastfeeding and losing calories and making sure that I am eating. And don't cut back on your calories. Just if you are going to be doing like something like this that has like 240 calories like, then, and you're doing 2 of these, then basically I'm putting back those 500 calories easily. But again, you are doing like what's best for you. You're sucking back your uterus in place, and everything that is healthy for you, a doctor will tell you. It's so beneficial for you, and it's so beneficial for your kid. So just breastfeeding is definitely one of those things that it's not for everyone, but if you are going to do it and you want to make sure that you're producing a lot of milk and storing things properly, just make sure that you're doing it within 4 hours in room temperature, or if you like feed the baby within 4 hours, that breast milk. And if you are going to be freezing, you can freeze it up to 6 months. A deep freezer, I think, a little bit longer. If you're going to be putting it in a fridge, you can put it in the fridge up to 3 to 5 days. So again, you have plenty of ways to store your breast milk, and then you can also, and you can build a storage supply for you to come back to work and be relieved with not having to struggle. So I don't have much other advice for this video. This one is just about storage, and then just a little bit of how you can produce a little bit more milk if you do it more frequently with your pumping and your breastfeeding. And that's the only advice I could give you. Next time I'll probably be talking about different products that I do consume a little bit more in depth, and then I will probably talk about like even different maternity and breastfeeding clothing that I prefer to use, since we are going to be, lifting up our shirts a lot more often than, somebody else. All right. Bye. Have a good day.